We're getting close. We're getting close, guys. It's episode 3. We're getting close to release, and I love to talk through maybe some ideas about marketing. I actually had a completely different idea when I sat down. I was thinking I'd talk through AI, how to make sure you're getting good stuff out of AI and not crap because I had a specific experience. Maybe I'll get into that later. But I kind of want to talk through maybe a little bit of marketing because here's the deal. This isn't just going to be about AI every time. It's going to just be about experiences that I have and things that are kind of these ground truths that nobody really wants to mention. And that kind of gets why the whole show is called Don't Shoot the Messenger, because I think at the end of the day, there's things that people don't necessarily want to hear, but are just true. So let's just start with the really big, obvious one with marketing, which is it is necessary. The honest truth is you could be the most talented, amazing game designer, musician, artist, performer, whatever, and it's just not going to happen on your own without marketing. It just isn't. People just don't randomly discover people. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, this one person I knew. Blah, 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 blah. Have you ever heard of the exception proves the rule? That is kind of the very definition of that. The reason why we remember those rare cases, because those are the exception. Most of the people who have had success in something creative have done a crap ton of marketing. And what that really comes down to is number 2 uncomfortable truth, which is it's money or it's time. And to be honest, the winning formula is going to be a bit of both. If you want to get the word out on something, you're really going to have to spend both your time and your money. And if you're really starting out, it may be more of you're spending your time as money effectively. So you're, instead of writing checks, you're basically working for yourself. That's something I do a lot. And I would actually highly encourage all my entrepreneur folks who work for other people in freelance to think of it that way. That sometimes what I have to do is I have to buy back my own time. Could I be making more money? Could I be getting more ahead, play more video games if I just worked on my clients' work? Absolutely. But if I prioritize my own work, then I can get even more of my stuff done, which will inevitably lead to more success for me in the future. So we've got these uncomfortable truths out of the way. Let's talk about what does marketing actually look like. And I'm just going to work on my specialty because there's a ton of different ways to get the word out. But I really want to focus on 2 main models and see how they resonate and just actually talk to you about what I'm currently doing right now with Thumb Warrior, the game that I'm working on. So the first is the viral model. And I really like the viral model in many ways, but it also honestly kind of sucks a bit. So let's talk through why it's great and then why it's also really, really frustrating. So the viral model is basically exactly that. It's to get things to go viral, to have the level of effort to the amount of views be disproportionately different. That's kind of, in many ways, I would say my modern version of what is viral. So like, if I was a massive film studio and I spent years making something and then I only got 500,000 views, I'd be pretty upset. If I'm sitting in my basement and I spend 10 seconds filming something and I get 30,000 views, I'm pretty happy. So in many ways, that idea of viralness is not as much a specific number. It's more that disproportionate effect to effort to actual success. Why is this so important? It's leverage. It's all about leverage. If I can get a lot of eyeballs for not as much work, then I can basically start pushing out the message that I'm interested in pushing out. Now, how does this actually work? For me, it's all about kind of finding where you want to exist in terms of things that are already going on in your head and then putting them out in a format that platforms will identify and popularize. And so, for example, when people give you value for free, the platform tends to promote that. Why? Because people stay to hear the thing that you're saying, to see the thing that you're putting out, and then they can serve an ad in between. So all these platforms are basically incentivized to push out your free value creation, if you will. And so that would be, I think, where you need to be, but formatted correctly. What does that mean? Well, every platform, it's slightly different, but ultimately it's going to be your vertical guys. It's going to be the little subtitles on the bottom of the screen. It's going to be maybe a little trending audio. It's going to be maybe a little like 10 to 30 seconds, all of those type of things. Having something relatable is also going to really, really help. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And that's actually something I'm going to keep harping on, which is marketing and getting the word out and being successful is really actually a lot of work. The people that you see that you go, they live a really charmed life. First of all, the answer is probably yes, they do. But second of all, they also are working their butt off. That's just the honest truth of the whole content industry. It is a lot of hours and understanding and knowledge. Now, that's the viral approach. I mentioned there were two. The second one, which actually I'm employing even more on Thumb Warrior than on my own brand right now, because in many ways it really caters to the specificity of that specific game. And that is the cocktail party strategy. I think the more narrow your audience is, the more successful this type of strategy is going to be. And I realized it would be really nice to get some solo dev, some other small creators interested in Thumb Warrior and building a community around that. How do you build a community? Well, you don't make it about yourself. Think about being at a party. If you go and you just go around and say, well, I did this, I'm all really interested in this. The thing I find interesting, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to want to talk to you. Nobody's going to want to hang out with you. That is boring. So what do you actually need to do? You actually need to do the exact opposite. You go around and you ask people about what they're doing. You listen into their conversation. You go, wow, that's interesting. Have you ever thought about this? Oh, I read that book a long time ago. I was thinking these thoughts about it. What you're really doing is you're emphasizing their message, their reality. And what are they going to do for that? They're going to pay you back for that. This all goes back to the same concept, which is you're basically giving away something for free. And humans have this amazing ability to effectively reciprocate. So when they see someone giving away something for free, they're kind of drawn like bees to honey to then reciprocate and to help you out and what you do. But that's important. If you go into it, though, going, okay, I like them, I'm going to follow them, so they're going to follow me back. Don't do that. That's not going to work out very well. The like for like stuff, the follow for follow, total garbage. What you really want to do is just go in going, hey, I'm going to understand this community. I'm going to enjoy this community. I'm going to comment on everybody's stuff and see what happens. And you will be surprised about what the result is. So that gets a bit into the marketing. I will do a follow-up when I do some paid marketing for the game. I've not done a lot of paid ads. I'm very interested to see how that turns out. But let's get into some of the other AI stuff because, again, it's just stuff that's front of mind right now. And this is the stuff I was going to talk about at the beginning. I had a real awesome discovery, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Gemini lets you do something called a gem. And a gem is basically kind of like a ChatGPT project. What is that? Well, it's a way to then be able to upload files so that the AI can see all those files and then make suggestions based on all those files. What I didn't realize, though, is if you give Gemini all of your code files and you ask it a question, what's it going to do? Like, seriously, what's it going to do? It's going to be an idiot. Because even though you might get from my tone and everything that I think AI is incredible, because it's true. I think AI is absolutely incredible. It makes you be able to do so many things that you weren't able to do before. But it's also still really, really, really stupid. It does not have discernment. It does not have intuition. It can't figure out exactly what problem you're trying to solve without more guidance. And so what a lot of times happens is, if you give it just a general idea, a general framework, you're like, okay, what I really want you to do is I want you to solve this bug in my game. When I go from combat, my code broke, and now I do not get to the reward screen. The game just crashes. I don't get out of the, enemy death animation goes, then to the reward screen. Do you know what it's going to do? It's not going to say, sorry, I can't do that. It's not going to say, hey, can you give me more context? It's just going to go, oh, here's a solution for you, and give you AI slop. It's so annoying. It just gives you garbage and basically acts like it knows what it's doing, but it has no flippin' clue. What in the world does that actually mean for what we're doing? What it means is we have to be more guiding with it. And what I've realized is it goes back to one of the best practices that I've had for a while. And when I do this, it works brilliantly every time. What is that? You go, hey, Gemini, I'm going to give you some code. And this code is for this specific purpose. And I'm having this specific bug with it. So in this case, I have a iPhone game written in Swift, and I have a bug where I don't go from the combat screen to the reward screen. Instead, it plays my enemy death animation, and then it gets stuck. I am now going to give you code files that pertain to this. Please do not respond until I give you all the code. Why do I say that? Because I don't want it to give me half thought out answers, because that actually gets into the memory of the conversation and will actually help inform the AI to make even stupider ideas later on. So I do that, and then I say, here's the code files I think you're going to need. I give them those code files, and then I give them the debug code. At that point now, it's all primed and loaded on a very specific, narrow path. None of this confusion, none of this, oh, I'm going to go over here, oh, I'm going to go over there. None of that garbage. That is kind of my main insight. And I just want you to learn from me, because I really screwed this up. It set me back at least a day, if not 2 days, to just be like, oh, I'm just going to use this easy built-in tool. Is AI going to make our lives easier? Absolutely, already has. But can it do everything? No, because, and where alarm bells should be going off in your head anytime you're doing AI is anything where it would involve discernment or larger problem solving. Simplify those problems out. If you don't know how to simplify the problem out, ask the AI to help you simplify the problem out, and then use those steps to help prompt the AI to get it. Because every time it becomes a slightly more complicated problem, like more than 2 steps, you are in for a world of hurt. It gets ugly fast. Now, we got some AI stuff. We did some marketing stuff. I want to share where we're at in the process. I haven't really been doing this as much, but I think we need to now. And that is, Thumb Warrior is getting really close to being done. I uploaded 2 promotional videos to the App Store page. So the App Store page is pretty much done. I need to double check on some stuff on that. I made a step-by-step list of things to do to finish getting the game ready. I fixed some bugs to do with the later difficulty levels, which that was really nice to do. Rebalanced a couple cards. And so it really is starting to feel like we're in the final throes. I also was throwing up the key on the download code on Twitter, and getting a surprising amount of people willing. I think I got an extra 15 or 20 testers, which is super cool to see. And so hopefully we'll get a little bit of feedback from there, but if we don't, we don't. It's not that big of a deal. I'm also totally okay with going in a little hot into the initial release. Mostly what I'm hoping for is to get a lot of buzz with just really pushing online and then getting friends to maybe react to it and getting some video there and seeing if I can't use that to help make kind of a little bit of a storm of publicity on it, and then dip my toes into some ads. I really want to try some ads to see if I can't find that sweet spot where the ads are giving me enough downloads to justify the amount that I'm spending on the ads. So anyway, enough of me rambling on. I'm Robert Monroe. In case you enjoyed this, please subscribe. We're going to drop at least one episode a week of Don't Shoot the Messenger. Until next time, keep making stuff, keep AIing, keep doing the things people don't tell you that you should do, because hey, don't shoot the messenger. The world's a crazy place.